Hello, boys and girls. Jim Voss. Late at night, 5 minutes into the early morning, 12:05, with the latest edition of Just My Opinion. I don't have a storyboard for tonight's program. I don't have talking points for tonight's program. I'm going to ramble and talk about the things that just pop up in my mind, the things that I believe to be important. I want you to hearken back with me to Richard Nixon, Richard Milhouse, his middle name, Nixon, and the Watergate scandal, where the Democratic headquarters was broken into, and documents were stolen. Became the Waterhouse scandal. I always felt like if Richard Nixon had just sat in that expensive leather chair and looked at the camera and said, "Yep, I told him to do it," he would have never had to leave the office of president. He would have never been disgraced. You see, regardless of your stature in life, no matter where you are in the food chain, you must address the elephant in the room. If he had said, "I did it," he would have gone out as a decent president. People didn't like a tricky dick. He stood. Now think about this. Who else would have done this? Maybe Trump. He stood on the top of his limousine in Latin America and gave them the famous line from A Few Good Men. He told the people who were rocking his car and trying to get to his ass and kill him, "You can't handle the truth." And he gave us all these wonderful 3-day weekends that we enjoyed. But he was a good president. He was a decent president. Donald Trump is my man. I love him with all my heart. My respect for him is massive. But he's going to have to address the elephant in the room. This is kind of like Biden's son's laptop, one with the cocaine dust powder on it, and yeah, that remained a stain on his presidency, which will be there forever until they bring that lowlife, cocaine-sniffing, DeLorean-running, knuckle-dragging, mouth-breather to justice, which they never will. He's a two-tier. He's on tier 2. He's not going to be prosecuted. Donald Trump has got to talk about the elephant in the room, the Epstein files. It's now you got to get a program. Get your programs, because you don't know which son of a bitch is lying, who has been pressured into admitting that they made a mistake, they misspoke. See, politicians misspeak. We lie. Bongini, who I think is a pit bull, and I love him. the new deputy director for the FBI, who 3 weeks ago said, we got them, we have the files, and we're going to open them up. And then, I don't know what race he is. He looks Iranian to me. He looks like a damn terrorist. But the new head of the DOJ sat together like bobbleheads and said it was all a spoof. It was all a lie. Well, wait a minute. You just told us you had the damn files. Now you don't have the files? They mysteriously disappeared? The elephant in the room is eating damn peanuts by the truckload, and he's growing fatter every day. Now, either we're going to have to build us some greater walls to make the room look bigger and the elephant look smaller, or we're going to have to sit down and talk to that guy who's always on vacation because he carries a trunk. I like that. It's an old joke. Miss Bonnie, Attorney General, Trump has good faith in her and says, release all of the documents that are legitimate and that you have faith in that are legitimate. Then you got Bongini and this other pit bull from the DOJ saying they'll resign if Bonnie does not change her attitude and her trajectory in this investigation. Well, it's not an investigation because it's falling apart at the seams. Donald, I love you, man. You're doing everything right. But this Epstein debacle will put a serious blister on your ass if it goes on any longer. Get rid of it. Bring it to the forefront. Stop everyone from generating this bullshit that they love to do, especially against you, and get it out in the open. Kill the elephant, use the hide, get the blubber, get the meat, get the toenails. Hell, get rid of the elephant in the room. You cannot survive this cancer, because much like cancer, it's going to spread. It's going to be talked about by the conspiracy theorist. It's going to be an ever-loving, stinking mess, and you're going to be caught up in the middle of it. Right now, the Democrats are wanting to elect a socialist and a communist in America, in the United States of America, who wants to take over the grocery stores and food production so that he can allocate food and fuel. Come on, please. In the United States of America, he should just go ahead and put on his bright red sickle endorsed sport coat with a great big old tattoo of the woke generation on his ass, because that is exactly what he is. He is pre-communist. Pre-communist. That's exactly what the woke generation wants to do to us. And if we don't get off our ass, quit scratching our scrotum, and fixing another mixed drink, that's what's going to happen. The Democrats, in their compressed stupidity, can't hardly elect a dog catcher right now, because even the faithful Democrats, the Demoturds, are unsure of What's happening to the party? The voters, the bobbleheads in the Senate are in goose step, smacking down the avenue of dumbness and voting in block for the most ridiculous programs ever to come across the hallowed halls and the aisles of the Senate. And we have our 4 so-called Republicans. I hate good. I'm not even going to speak their names. You know who they are. Mikowski and all them. Sorry, mother. The sign is weak. This is not a bullshit alert. This is a critical bullshit alert. The Democrat Party is like a condom with a hole in it. It just ain't no effing good anymore. But they still survive. How? They survive because we're too stupid to get the elephant out of the room. See, that's the real meaning of transparency. This is not the time to taint the window of transparency, and you make all of your people that work for you come up with different bullshit lies. I mean, I've already talked about the tier 2 living people who can get away with murder. Donald, you're tier 15, buddy. Don't let these dematurgs bring you down. Get rid of the elephant in the room. Just because you might have your picture with him does not mean that y'all held hands and took warm showers. You'll find doctored photos in there. Let me explain something to you. This is the way you do it. You take the biggest con artist, and I'll have to say that J. Edgar Hoover was one of those. J. Edgar Hoover never went before any subcommittee on spending and had to beg for X amount of dollars to run his agency or to buy him a new dress and heels. Because he would go in there and sit at that table and open his little black book and he'd say, the FBI needs $2.3 billion to run for such and such a year. Close that mother up and get up and walk out and never beg for a dime. Why? Because in that black book, there was dirt on each and every person on that committee. And they knew that if they voted against him, he would open that book like the book of life when Jesus Christ comes down on us. And he's going to say, you are a pedophile. You are this, you're that, you're that. Here's the evidence. We did it at the FBI. And now your career is over. That's called leverage. Donald Trump is the perfect person for leverage. He's doing it to Rudy Poot right now. You got 50 days. You're going to fold like a cheap suit, and you're going to leave the Ukraine alone. And if you don't, I'll put 100% tariff on you. And when your people are cold and starving and dying of starvation, the old guard is going to take your sorry ass and put you in Siberia to spend the rest of your days with Nikita Khrushchev's body. Listen, Rudy Poot's gone. One way or the other, if he capitulates, the old guard is going to bury his ass for losing face. If he doesn't, the people are going to take him out because they're tired of Mother Russia starving their ass to death for their own political agenda. So Rudy Poot is out. Now, whatever idiot they bring in, I don't know. But China is quiet about the war in the Ukraine. Why? Just like they were in the bombing. Those little countries don't mean shit to China. China's eyes are on the world. So if this little third world nation or that little third world nation screws up and Trump comes to bomb their neighborhood, China doesn't care. This is a country that loses 600,000 people per year to starvation, not being hungry, starvation. 1.6 million Chinese don't even have indoor bathrooms. So tell me how high you think Xi is thinking about global warming. He doesn't give a rat ass. He has figured out a way to dump sand into the ocean and build him an island and claim it for the name of China and put a military base there. He's already done it once. They've got a runway built out of sand poured into the ocean. Can you imagine how much sand it takes to pour an island? And it also shows the tenacity of those sorry bastards. They want to rule the world. Russia only wants to rule the United States. Can't do it. Russia's broke. They have spent all their money on this war with Ukraine, and the equipment that Rudy Poot's got right now is third rate. Third rate. They're broke. They're broke. They got 5,236 nuclear warheads, and they're broke. We got 5,236 warheads also, and we're filthy rich. Donald, shoot the elephant. If you only have a blue gun, choke that mother till he turns blue, and then shoot him with your blue gun. But you gotta address the elephant in the room. Quiet from Little Rocket Man. Have you noticed that? Ting tong dong ding tong. And his brother, bing bong, bing bong. You know, he had his own sister executed. Yeah. She just spoke up too much, so he zapped her. I kind of few relatives that, no. But there was, no. And then the mother-in-law, no, not mother-in-law, no. Never get away with it. But it's an idea. It is an idea. Hitler did the same thing. If you could not pick up the banner of the Third Reich, Hitler just had your ass executed. He executed 431 generals close to the end of the war, blaming them because they couldn't win the war for him. The original creator of critical race theory was Adolf Hitler. Okay? Same principles. Have you noticed that now the woke generation spokespeople are backing up? They got backup lights now on CRT. They're saying it's not being taught in any school. No curriculum is even modified to favor the ideology of critical race theory. Bullshit. Critical race theory is taught in most colleges. Not under that name, of course, dumbass. Listen up. Not under that name. If you don't want to buy Marlboro 100s, the rich tobacco blend, you can get the same cigarette that will kill you with cancer under the most valued market cigarettes, or Victory cigarettes, or another sub-brand of cigarettes. It's still a cigarette. It's still going to kill you. So when you're going to teach the course, you teach it modified. You don't leave it out there so one of us conservative blowhards can run in there and say, you're teaching CRT. No, I'm not. I'm teaching the observations of life and the preamble to socialism, some kind of bullshit like that. And you give it a spiffy acronym name. Donald. Get rid of the elephant in the room. If there's a photo of you and that flesh peddler, tell him, hey, it's doctor, that wasn't me. He did ban Epstein from Mar-a-Lago. He said that. And he said he had never been to the island. I believe that. But that's the way the dirty tricks department works in politics. If you have a good rally, I will find me a pedophile and I will put a suit on him, a Brooks Brothers $3,000 suit, and I will put his ass in there, pay the $100, shake your hand, and then in the next few months, I'll say that you were associated with a pedophile. Now, let's get back to the way that Epstein does it. I got off on a jaunt there about J. Edgar Hoover. You get all the dirt you need. You fly all the biggies, Blowjob Bill, whomever, out to the island. You let them fiddle with the middle on an underage kid, and then you document it with, it's stupid to have your picture made with a kid like one of the princes did from Great Britain. He's got his, well, I forgot which one that was from a lowlife. A picture of royalty with a 15-year-old, of which he was banging. That shit don't go away. Which one was that? I can't think of his name. Henry William, no, William. And then you just sit back. And then you start telling them, I need $50 million or I will expose you as a pedophile, as a rapist. I will destroy your family, your career, your business, and anything else that I want, but I need $50 million. I need it by tomorrow. And you know what? He'll get it. He'll get it, he'll get it, he'll get it. Because these people, these powerful people of position on the food chain that live in Tier 2, cover your ass territory, will pay that money to save their worthless ass. Now, Blowjob Bill, I mean, give me a break. Everybody knows he's a whore dog. He don't turn down nothing but his collar. That's an old joke, but I like it. It's a good joke. I mean, if you had to wake up every morning, Madam Lard ass, you'd be out looking too. If that ass gets any bigger, they're going to have to talk to Omar, the tent maker, about making some dresses for her. Just take a parachute, cut 2 holes in it, and give them to her as panties. Old lady panties, and big panties. How can our elected thieves open our borders and allow our children and our friends and our neighbors to be assaulted, to be raped, and to be sold the millions and millions of fentanyl tablets that they brought across the border? Do you know that right now that the drug cartels are taking the drug business away from the mob? They are kicking the American kids that are standing on the street corner selling dope, and they're taking that over. We have authorized, we didn't, they did, I'm sorry, bastards, these elected clowns gave these thugs the authority to move in and take over the underworld of the United States. We have taken $7.2 trillion taxes. Do you realize that the underworld money flow is greater than that? The illegal money flow underneath the surface is bigger than our national budget. See, that's our problem. We bring in 7.2. Excuse me, I got that ass backwards. We bring in 4.9. We spend 7.2. We haven't talked about a little bit. We've talked about a whole lot. I want to tell you something. I talked to a Sherman, a real live Indian chief, who is the keeper of the knowledge and information of every tribe around the world. And for 2 solid hours, I was mesmerized at the things he educated me on. The Indian nations around the world feel the same thing that I do. Artificial intelligence is robbing the soul of the human beings on this earth. It will be our downfall. It will be the cancer within our body that we cannot have removed. Think about this. Let's say there's 400 million people in the United States, and of that, 280 million are working. Hard-working people every day. Let's just say that you work on an assembly line, you make $30 an hour. You've got a benefits package, you go on vacation, you get profit sharing, you get this, you get that, you get hospitalization, and then they bring in AI. You say, man, my factory can deliver 3 times as many widgets as we did last year. That means I'm going to get rich. My stockholders, my shareholders are going to get rich. But then Joe, on that assembly line, is out of a job. So he gets his little benefits package and he gets his ass kicked out the door. What does he do? So he goes over to ABC Widget Company and they say, we're sorry. The identical job that you were doing over the A Widget Company is now been replaced here by AI. If you take 280 million working people and you put 200 million out of work and turn that over to the AI, to the robot, where do you work? How do you feed your family? Chief lectured me, and I have a total disbelief, worry, no, I don't know the word, for this person who was vetted without even his knowledge, who was elected by the council of grandmothers of every tribe around the world, and then he was told that he was the chosen one to do this job. I know this man. I've known him for 20 years. 5 years ago, he had never been smart enough to take on this job. But the Great Spirit has endowed him with truth and wisdom and the ability to communicate, and he does that well. He has the entire lineage of all of the grandmothers in all of the nations and all of the tribes, and he can spout their names and talk about things. He is invited to Australia and other places around the world to speak at, I would not call it a convention, I can't think of the name, where the tickets are $10 $5,000 a person. He has been richly blessed, and the knowledge he possesses is not only thrilling and exciting, it's scary. The difference between you and I and him, we always are raised to believe one thing. But as problems arise daily, we walk away from that belief. We walk away from our roots to try and find a new answer to an old problem. The Indian nation stays connected to Mother Earth and to their teachings from their great-grandfather and their great-great and all the way back. They do not change that belief to satisfy and find an answer to a new problem, which is really modified from an old problem that we had. But we dealt with the old problem because we were rooted in our beliefs. And we change to try and satisfy the new problem. I'll give you a prime example. We were raised in a democratic, freedom-loving, liberty-possessed, free world. And we are sitting on our fat ass and scratching our scrotum, and we are letting the left steal it day by day by day because we can't find a solution to the new problem because we left our roots. Our roots was, I'll kick your ass to keep my freedom and my liberty, but I'm not willing to do it now because I gotta be all inclusive. I want that hairy man to follow that little girl into the bathroom. Oh, I don't want to hurt his feelings. Let's don't give anybody a score in a football game. Everybody deserves a trophy for just showing up. Giant P. Wussy. That's what we've become. We have allowed the left to weaken our soul and our resolve and our tenacity to kick your ass to keep what is ours. Boy, I've covered a lot of parts. And I'll tell you again, we don't like the truth. We don't like the truth because the truth requires change and we can't stand to change. We would rather die in the pool of self-pity and woe is me. They took away my flag, my country, my liberty, my freedom, than to change and stay true to what has worked for us for 250 years. Stop changing the way you look at freedom, because freedom has not changed the way it looks at you. I hope that the Chief and I remain good friends. He is beyond busy, but I would love to have him on a podcast. Wow. Jim Voss, high above my garage. We've covered everything under the sun. Donald, recognize the elephant in the room and take care of it, or it's going to destroy you. I love you. I love all my vets, my cops, my first responders, my soldiers. Please pray for our president and what he hopes to accomplish. Be true to yourself. Screw everybody else. I love you. And especially the blonde in the third row with the arthritis. Jim Voss, high above my garage, 8 or 10 feet, with the multi-millionth episode of Just My Opinion. I love you. Stay true. Donald, kill off the elephant.